both these teams want top 4 so badly. You could argue means more to G1 because they've never been there, but eUnited, you've got players who also haven't been there, right? You've got a new look eUnited now, a new look team who wants to prove they still have what it takes.
It's been a long time since Suspector's been in the top 4. This would be a massive win for him. eUnited, they think they belong in the top 4. G1, they want to be there. They've been putting in a lot of work to get there, and we're going to see if that work pays off. It's going to be one hell of a series, Dan. I can't imagine this series ending in 3. Does it go the entire way to go the distance? Often we find ourselves in a game 5 when we commentate, so fingers crossed there. We'll see if they can take us there. But as we kick this one off on the streets, it's King of the Hill, I believe, and let's kick it off with someone from G1, bubu, the veteran on this squad. You know, he needs a big presence here in this first game in order to get G1 started off on the right foot. He's found himself some rockets, and he's already found himself what looks like it would have been a double kill. It's 2, but doesn't find Manny and pays for it with his wife.
Yeah, Manny was just able to hide away, but still 3 had gone down. It means G1 can score in this first hill. And certainly one thing we learned from both of these teams throughout this tournament is how good they are with their strategy, how they develop other teams and they see the way that maybe the other team is playing and they start to change their strategy as well. Definitely more apparent for eUnited, but G1 have shown signs of that as well. But you can already see it's very scrappy in this first hill.
Let's crank the volume up on the headset. Let's get loud on Sunday, baby. This gameplay, it's going to be great. bubu off to a great start, 6-0-1 already. In control of the hill as well. More importantly, starting to build that time up for this G1 roster. He's on a killing spree, and someone's got to shut bubu down because when he starts to heat up, when he finds his flow, he can be the best in the game.
Bubu looks so good on this team. I'm so excited for him as well. I was kind of maybe a little bit concerned for him on his previous roster. He didn't seem to be able to play the way he wanted to play, but it seems like now he's found a team that allows him to play in this style.
Never on phase did I feel like bubu was put in a position to shine. Ever since he's been on this G1 roster, to your point, he's been lights out. He's been everything this G1 roster team needed in order to hit that next step, in order to bring themselves and elevate themselves to compete against the likes of the eUniteds of the world, of the Sentinels of the world. They had a short series against Sentinels yesterday. They left some food on the table. Let's see if they can get back to a potential rematch here today. In order to do so, they're going to have to go through this elimination bracket run, and it's going to be a long day for these boys if they want that to be the case, but a good start as they're about to potentially score this first point. Rockets are coming up. It's a tough decision for eUnited to decide. Do we try and compete for this last final seconds? Do we compete for Rockets and potentially the second hill?
And instead, they kind of get caught in 2 minds, and they do neither. And now Rockets and the hill goes in favor of G1, and the new hill is going to go in favor of G1 as well, because they've, of course, been able to get those slays, and now they're in a position to set up for it. With the Rockets in control, yes, eUnited just looked a little bit lost in those moments.
A lot of questions around Squallaye on this roster, right? Is he the right 4th for G1? Well, let me tell you, ever since I've been paying attention to this newly formed G1 roster, Squallaye has done nothing but impress me online. A lot of people say it is because of online, but right now in the Super, it doesn't matter. You have your opportunity here to set yourself up for Orlando, the next big LAN, of course, but G1, you can't listen to the outside noise. You got to focus on yourself, and they're doing such a good job here in at least game 1 of the series. Look how much points they already have scored. Then they got the first hill, almost the second hill guaranteed. This push from eUnited could say otherwise, though.
Well, I will say, we only briefly got to talk about the series layout before it started, but this series is a good one for G1, especially when Catalyst Capture the Flag is also featuring it. We saw how amazing they were in Catalyst Capture the Flag previously in this tournament. They haven't quite got this second point on this hill yet, though. eUnited now have their chance to really set up and try and lock down Trap.
RyaNoob with the Stalker Rifle needs to find a pick, needs to get a kill. He gets Squallaye down to no shield, but the double team from G1, the teamwork from G1 stands true. They get rid of RyaNoob, and now they look to push, but it's a big double from Suspector there off screen that's able to keep the setup in control for eUnited for now.
Yeah, PreDevoNatoR just needs to wait for the rest of the team to come up. They've probably got one last push in them to try and stop this hill from being scored in favor of eUnited. If Rayne had gone down, that would have been the push. But now because RyaNoob gets a double kill, this hill should be comfortably going in favor of eUnited.
What a phenomenal job by eUnited. Remember when this hill started, rockets were coming up. You saw G1 in a perfect position to get the hill, get the rockets. You thought they could potentially jump out to a 2-0 lead. Now just moments away from tying this one up is eUnited.
3 dead. Bubu last remaining player. He's not going to be able to stop this hill on his own, you'd have to imagine. He does not. RyaNoob shuts him down, and we are going to be tied up 1-1 as now the next hill moves over towards tower. But Rockets in control here for eUnited and Suspector. The first Rockets they really can put to use, as now G1 are going to be really struggling, because that is a great rocket. Very could have easily been a double kill.
Yeah, good damage. Let's see if eUnited can capitalize. Suspector was able to find one, a couple of kills continuing to go into eUnited's favor, but as I say that, Swish wins a big 1v1 on the Manny, but RyaNoob, the king of the castle, the king of the back tower for now. He's the last player alive on the map. He's going to award eUnited with cafe spawns. It's going to be arcade spawns for G1, so they're going to be fairly close, and no one really going to be able to rack up some time unless they win this engagement.
There's a great push coming out at the moment from G1, but they don't expect RyaNoob to be the sneaky beaver, and maybe you've always got to expect the unexpected when you're going up against RyaNoob. He does eventually get shut down, but he maybe had done enough damage with that Bulldog because still 3 members had fallen.
Yeah, you thought Ryan was honestly going to be able to get 2, but the damage has been done. PreDevoNatoR is going to be the last guy alive for G1, trying to play his life as well as he can. Unfortunately, he eventually gets taken down, and that's a little bit of a staggered death from PreDevoNatoR. We'll see if it punishes G1. Does look like reinforcements have been able to get here and potentially capitalize on PreDevoNator's distraction.
Already we can see this is going to be the series we expected it. Nothing to separate the two teams at the moment, even with only 2 minutes 20 left on the clock. When there was all these team changes in North America, we were saying who's going to be able to benefit, who is going to falter because of it. Both these teams are looking to try and be that squad that really benefits from all these changes.
And these were the two teams that really stuck out to me as potential benefactors, right? When you're talking about eUnited, actually, I kind of want to take that back. I had questions around Manny and Suspector, but you thought that the chemistry could grow from them, right? There was something wrong with the mentality of eUnited back in the day. When you have teammates like RyaNoob and Spartan fighting, you got to get rid of that in your locker room. They were able to replace them with some highly skilled players. And so far, so good for eUnited, right? They've been able to build a roster that maybe is all on the same page, is all on the same strategical journey together now. And with that journey, are they able to push into the top 4 here today? They're going to have to beat G1 in order to get there. This third hill, though, Dan, in the meantime, as rockets have been secured by bubu, it's going in the hands of G1. And another opportunity for G1 to jump out to a successful lead here in this series, as they not only have that 1 point advantage now with a 2-1 lead. The hill moves towards shotgun, and with rockets, it's so easy to hold.
Double kill for bubu. Looking to try and get a little bit more as well. Won't get a triple with just the battle rifle, but the damage enough, and the information shared is going to be enough as well for there to be continuous scoring happening over towards that P side. And G1, in that previous hill, it was so scrappy, but as soon as they got set up, as soon as they locked it down, they scored an entire hill in one go. And that is exactly what you want to see from a team who is trying to kind of progress into that top 4.
It's often what you see on King of the Hill. Once a full setup is gotten and you're able to progress on the map, maybe deny some space from the enemy team, so often does the hill go by so quickly. Already 75% of this hill dominated by G1. It's going to have to be one hell of a stand here from the eUnited roster if they want to get back in this and tie this up.
Rayne is the first to fall, and that means the rest of the team have to retreat. Look at this, they're leaving the hill. They're going to try and re-engage elsewhere, but Squallaye and Swish are able to get the kill. Suspector means he's just alone, and this hill is going to go in favor of G1 again. They are going to go 3-1 up here.
And this one gets dangerous because this is where the hill moves to bottom middle as well, Dan. It's going to be a 2-point advantage for G1. Not only that, but this bottom middle hill with under 2 minutes is going to be so difficult for eUnited to try and capture. Rockets are coming up. That's a must get if you're an eUnited player. Right now, a win condition, I would call it. And right now, all the slays going in G1's favor right now. They can play time. They're going to try to get that 4th point. But they're sure as hell going to have these rockets. They have all 4 dead for eUnited. And as this hill is so highly contested, Dan, the clock starts to become a factor.
Clock will become a factor, but because they got all 4 dead, they say, okay, well, we'll get a little bit of time just in case eUnited try and make this one a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
But now G1 are going to do exactly what eUnited have been doing all tournament. Play time, play Slayer, make it a frustrating experience in one of these bottom hills. eUnited have been doing it so well, but now G1, if they can do exactly the same thing, they will be going 1-0 up in this series.
Question is does eUnited have the trick, the key to get out of this kind of a situation? Like you said, they've been implementing this into their strategy the whole time. They've been playing with the lead the whole time. This is the first time we're really seeing eUnited at the deficit in a King of the Hill game. and how will they respond?
And because G1 keep getting all 4 dead, they keep getting time as well. They say, actually, we can probably just win this with a 4th point. Let's assert a bit of domination here and say we don't need to play time. We instead can score points. We are that much better than you. It is just trying to make a statement sometimes in this scenario.
I think there's too much time on the clock for them to really feel comfortable right now, but I mean, even with this much time allotted in the hill to get that 4th point, it just puts even more pressure on eUnited to expose themselves, to desperate to get them out of the hill. Another win condition in the favor of G1.
Everything is in favor of G1 right now. Kills, points, and the series is shortly going to be as well. Swish with 8 kills, but does have 14 assists, but it's bubu dubu with 20, and actually 3 members are close to 20 bombs here, and they're very close to scoring this 4th.
Yeah, you don't care about your stats right now. The only thing that matters is that this game 1, probably a lot easier than G1 would have thought. They look really strong here on Streets King of the Hill. It's a 4-1 victory for Gamers First, and a phenomenal way to start off your championship Sunday.
When we look at team changes, we look at what happened at previous lands. You've got to remember, eUnited were that top 4 team. G1 were not even in the conversation for top 4 back then. But now, since the bubu dubu joined, since they've been playing so well in scrims, suddenly people are saying, hey, this is a top 6 roster. Hey, this is actually a top 4 roster. Hey, you know what? Why can't they be more than even top 3?
Well, G1 was one of the first rosters to put their squad together this time around. That pickup of bubu dubu was almost immediate. And with that, they've been putting in a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of time spent in theater, a lot of time scrimming. These practice teams, they're going to benefit immensely. eUnited, usually one of the more practiced teams, maybe only has a couple of weeks together with this roster. What I love from G1 is just another story of hard work paying off so far, because it is that time spent grinding. You talked about bubu dubu's grind in Halo 4. Well, this team has been putting in a lot of hard work as a unit, and because of it, it's starting to pay off. I
mean, bubu dubu was a hot prospect. He was scrimming with many teams after he left FaZe, and the fact that he chose to stay with this G1 roster, I think, speaks volumes for how much he believes in these 3 players and the potential that he sees in this team. And I think that that is evident now at this tournament. They are living up to the hype that surrounded them prior to it, but now they just need to carry on this momentum from game number 1 and get this series done. Get into that top 4.
Yeah.
Secure that incredible placement that can start to propel you towards bigger and better things as the HCS continues this year.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit this week, and bubu dubu had so many different options after his run with FaZe, and it was questions around, why did he pick Gamers First? Why did he go with G1? Everything G1 has been doing, whether it's innovating different ways to elevate your players in and outside of the game, whether it's the individual players on the team, how much skill that they have, the potential of this roster. Bubu dubu saw something special, and with that, he believed in these guys. That belief, I mean, it carries through gameplay, Dan. When you have a teammate like that that takes a chance on a bunch of unknown players, a bunch of underrated players, sometimes that's what those players need in order to believe in themselves a little bit more to get the job done. And now G1, with their best performance in a major tournament yet, continue their run. They start off, like I said, Championship Sunday as good as you can.
That being said, on the other side for eUnited, they have been involved in many a Game 5s. They've also been behind in many a series already this tournament. I don't think they'll be too disheartened despite how one-sided that was towards the end for G1 as we go into Slayer Aquarius. Now, eUnited were, with their previous roster, in my opinion, one of the best teams in any Slayer game. And a lot of that comes down to RyaNoob and how RyaNoob assesses a game, how he finishes a game in those tight 48-48 situations. He makes that play. He makes that call. Do or die, the team will all do it together. And that's what always excites me when it comes to a Slayer. We'll see whether that will be prevalent here in game number 2 or whether G1 can carry on their success from game 1 and try and go 2-0 up in this series.
It's going to have to be Aquarius Slayer. If eUnited want to tie this one up, they came out flat in game 1. G1 came out hot. They were in control the whole time, and it was bubu dubu, the man on screen, that really performed at a high level, topping his team in slays, but more importantly, his presence was felt on the power weapon control. Let's see what he opts to do here. It's going to be a car push for him. He runs into 2. Can he at least find 1? He does. It's trades across the board early.
A lot of trades. eUnited are actually on the downside of it, but Rayne, the last remaining player, will able to get the camouflage. If he escapes with it, I think that G1 will be kicking themselves a little bit because they were able to do that initial damage.
Yeah.
But now it's what can you do if you are Rayne? Can you force these players into a position where now your teammates can really help you with the damage you're putting down?
Love this push by Rayne. It's going to be a couple of kills going in eUnited's favor. And although they lose the lead here 6-4, Rayne still with this camouflage has something to say about it.
Still just trying to survive, but yeah, this is the push you need to see. As soon as you work out where that player is, you've got to get aggressive, you've got to take that camouflage off the map, because if you give them the chance to escape, it really could come to bite you in the backside later.
Devin trying to do everything he can with the heat wave. Eventually gets taken down, but not without a ton of damage and a few kills to his name, up to 3 right now, and an 8-9 score line. G1 still in the lead, but it does feel like eUnited have done a good job to weather the storm, the map control that G1 had early on, and now look at how the map control has flipped. And just like that, 4 down for G1. eUnited with that map control are able to get a clean sweep of kills.
That was always going to go one of two ways. I saw all 4 members of G1 just kind of stuck towards Fridge, and they were trying to get aggressive on the eUnited players in the base. As soon as they weren't able to actually get that initial damage, they were sitting ducks, and now eUnited trying to take advantage of all the map control they were able to get off the back of it. They still have a 2-kill lead, but it's not a massive one, because G1 are still winning big 1v1s here.
Yeah, Swish with some big shots to just subside some of the pressure from eUnited there. He eventually gets taken down. A 14-13 lead for eUnited is the result of the combat, but right now with G1 getting map control back, look at how eUnited are stuck in this space. This could be very dangerous with his dynamo grenades.
Dynamo does a little bit of a tickle. 2 players are going to push in, and there's the second Dynamo to make that tickle into full-on scratch, and it's going to be 15-15, but it could be more because Rayne pushes out. Unfortunately, had to get aggressive because he didn't know where the player was, and now G1, they're rewarded with a camouflage here.
Great use of the grenades, great use of pressure to force eUnited's hand there. They were stuck top the base, and now that they've got that round of Squallaye, Squallaye is able to pick up camo, Swish able to pick up the heat wave. This could be a very successful push from G1 that extends the lead to a reasonable early game for G1.
Should be a double, will be a double from Squallaye. And he's got assistance from the rest of the team as well. RyaNoob does well to actually change his aim there to make sure he does secure that kill. Sure, he goes down eventually, but how different it could have been if you don't make sure you clean up those one-shots.
Devin finds a double to answer it right back, though, and all of a sudden the lead up to 6. The G1 has taken their map control, that camo, the heat wave, and they've pushed it to the 6-kill advantage. And not only that, look at how spread out they are. They have so much space to play around. eUnited need to figure out a way to get out of one of these bases.
Thruster picked up just so he can get closer to an enemy or closer to a teammate. And look at eUnited, they're running. Oh boy, are they running, because 2 of them were no shields, and now this is where the collapse could happen, or you can just hold your angles. If you are quick on your push here, you get all 4 dead, and then you regain map control. But what a hold it was from RyaNoob, has to be said, getting a double there. Should be cleaned up, will be cleaned up, but still keeping them within a close enough amount by getting kills like that.
It's still a 4-2 trade on the side of G1. They flip the map right back to yellow. And this is a very difficult watch, rinse, repeat cycle that eUnited need to find a way out of. And Rayne trying to be the first one out of the base. It's getting shut down. RyaNoob is able to trade it out, but I mean, no map control being earned by eUnited, and the longer that this goes, the more G1 are going to be able to trade in their favor.
And we were talking about, how good eUnited are when it comes down to those 46-46s. As it's a double, make it a triple for bubu dubu as he gets the beat down for the 3rd. Squallaye's got the camouflage. Everything is looking good for G1. If you can stay this far ahead of eUnited, you never have to worry about those late game situations, those 46-46 calls, because you have the game in your hands already.
G1 just in so much control right now. Everybody hitting shots. Squallaye matching some beautiful shots from his teammate bubu dubu onto Manny there. He gets taken down. The first pick is usually all she wrote.
Oh, wow.
It's taken down eventually by Rayne, but you need so much work on the side of eUnited to come back into this one. This 12-kill lead on Aquarius is not something that's easy to come back from.
It is not, but if anyone can do it, it is eUnited. They will try and slow this one down, try and make it a little bit more strategical and maybe go from one side to another. If they get an all 4 dead, then it's definitely achievable. But at the moment, with how G1 are playing, it's not looking likely. Squallaye and Swish getting kills. bubu dubu is still staying alive. And suddenly, G1 are 11 kills away from taking this. And what was a very close game now looks completely one-sided.
Ever since G1 gained control of the map, they've just traded out successfully every single time they've looked to push. And once again, PreDevoNatoR with the first pick It is Ryan that's able to answer with a grenade, but it's always eUnited forced to try and answer the response. They do eventually get 3 dead now. Swish, the last player alive, trying to play his life a little longer, waiting for respawners to come through for G1. But eUnited, they have so much work to do. Still a 12-kill lead after all that.
10 more kills. Can G1 keep this pressure up? There's another camo popping in 12. And G1 have done very well at controlling that power up. That's one of the reasons why they've had so much success here. RyaNoob and the rest of the squad are just kind of forced and pinned back here. Suspector will try and get the kill onto Squallaye, but look at the help that Swish offers. There is everything flowing in favor of G1 at the moment.
Everything going in their favor. 6 kills is all they need, and Swish wants to keep the gas pedal going. Recycles the heat wave as well, so he's been prioritizing that all game. The dynamo grenades have been in their favor as well. And look, it's again an eUnited member just stuck top of base, not really able to do much. And although Rayne's able to get a kill top middle, a couple of kills are once again traded in G1's favor. They're doing such a good job of just continuing the lead that they already have.
And because of this lead, they can be aggressive, they can take risks. It's not going to be a steak dinner, but it does look like it's going to be all wrapped up like a takeaway. 47-32, and eUnited are in a spot now where they are knowing that this is inevitable. They will try and slow it down. They will try and make this miraculous comeback, but even in the back of their minds, they know 3 kills is too difficult to stop.
Yeah, they're going to try and stay alive, but I mean, bubu dubu right now doing a better job of staying alive. Finds one. He does get his thumb snapped at the end by Suspector, but with 1 kill to go, 49-36, G1 going to take this series lead to 2-0. 2-0
lead, and as we know, Catalyst Capture the Flag does feature in this series. Everything is starting to point towards G1 being in the top 4, but eUnited have made miraculous comebacks. They have been able to get back and get those reverse sweeps. It's going to have to happen in map number 3, though, as game 2 is 50-37 in favor of G1. And, you know, sometimes there is hype around a team before a tournament and they flop. This has not happened for G1. They have lived up to every little bit of hype there has been online, and the sky is the limit for them right now.
They've done well in their scrims. They've done well where we've been able to see them compete online and continuing that streak, like you're saying, Dan, and it really is. Everyone on this team seems to feel comfortable, right? You take a look at the kills. Nobody really standing out. It's 13 through 10. Everybody's doing their part. The assists are coming through for those that don't have the most kills, and I mean, it's more so the teamwork and the strategy that you're really seeing take place here. Dynamo grenades were being cycled immediately coming off spawn. The heat wave was always consistently in control. And like you said, the camouflage, a massive opportunity that we saw G1 take advantage of several times throughout that second game.
As we take a peek at the damage, we can see maybe a little bit more of an in-depth sight as to what happened. RyaNoob 3.7k. I'm not really surprised. There was a lot of times where the push would come through from G1 and RyaNoob still was able to get a double kill. Very impressed with how he's played this tournament, but we're going to need to see him and the rest of the squad step it up that little extra bit more if eUnited are going to get back into this series, Wes.
We need to see them be a little bit more aggressive with a little bit more map control, right? Ever since they lost map control around that 15 kill mark, it didn't feel like they really ever gained it back. And G1, that's a testament to their control, their ability to get that first pick, to push off that first pick, wash, rinse, repeat, flip the map like they know they can. And that formula is something that is a very consistent formula at a high level. It's nothing new that G1's doing. They're just solid as a rock when they're doing it, right? It's just consistency. It's not like they're trying to break the bank, change the meta. They're just trying to execute, and they're doing so. On the side of eUnited, you got to find a way to get out of that cycle. You got to find a way to create an opportunity to get that going in your own favor, and unfortunately, not so far in game 2.
When it snowballs out of control like that, it's so difficult to be on the receiving end of it. You almost start thinking about map number 3, game number 3 already. And speaking of game number 3, we know what it's going to be as well. It's going to be Oddball on Recharge. And for eUnited, it's going to have to be a reverse sweep. It's happened once already this tournament for them. Where's my question to you? Can you see it realistically happening here?
I don't know. Something about this G1 roster just looks like they're prime and positioned to move forward. eUnited kind of hasn't woken up on Championship Sunday and showed us even some of their better gameplay. So for me to believe that it's going to happen, it's going to have to come on the back of some incredible plays. But if it's going to be any game type, I feel like this eUnited roster is going to be good at these oddballs specifically. And Fortunately for them, they do have that here in Game 3. If they can take Game 3, build some momentum, maybe they can stun G1's momentum as well.
I have a feeling that G1 don't just have their sights on top 4. They have their sights on Cloud9. They have their sights on top 3. They still want to go up against everyone and anyone in this tournament, but it has to start here. A 3-0 dominant performance would speak volumes for how well they are playing. All 4 dead on the side of eUnited, and G1 still carry the momentum through.
They do lose their camo player, so a potential advantage there thrown away from the camouflage player just having to trade melees, but it is going to be an advantageous position once again for G1. But as I say that, they lose 3 members, and this could be where eUnited start one of these games off on the right foot.
Have to start on the right foot. Nice grenade shot there from bubu to do the damage, and on no shield, he's still emitting so much damage on the map, which is what you've got to do as a player sometimes. It's so easy to turtle up, just try and wait for your shields to regen, but you have to be a presence on the map. You have to be helping your team in as many ways as you can, as bubu, now off the back of that, is still getting kills.
Look how bubu played that one out. He did not opt to push towards Turbine, towards the pipes area. He opted to try and push the players off an elevator and then focus and prioritize the players in the pipes. Perfectly executed once again by bubu. He's got 6 kills already, and someone on eUnited has to shut him down. Eventually, Rayne does get a few kills over in pipes, awards his team with some more ball time, so it is eUnited jumping off to an early lead. But if bubu's slaying at that high of a level, eventually that's going to catch up.
Especially if G1 are able to get control and bubu is not the player holding the ball. All those slays will just end up adding up to a lot of time here. So now here comes the push from G1. bubu has lost teammates, so RyaNoob is going to be the last remaining player on the side of eUnited. If somehow RyaNoob wins this fight, it would be huge, but of course bubu carries on with his fine form. He's up to 7 kills, and now he's moving that ball towards his spawning teammates.
Heads up play from bubu after getting that kill. Immediately goes for the ball, immediately rotates it into BR tower. You can tell that this is something that they've talked about.
Oh, nice.
Going over film, and I like this route as well. Although he's forced to get out of the BR tower, he's still able to collect a little bit of time, and he's putting the ball in a very vulnerable position as well.
Puts the ball into a vulnerable position, also stays alive and adds a little bit of extra damage onto Suspector, and that damage proves vital because Squallaye is able to get a kill. Squallaye almost gets the double as well, but thankfully for eUnited, RyaNoob was able to pick it up. Camo has popped, and I tell you what, this game is going to be pretty difficult for either team to get a proper setup, I feel, with how scrappy it's been so far.
Could be on the back of this camo. The ball was brought towards that blue area. They've been able to secure it, and now with shock rifle camo in hand, this is where we could see eUnited really jump out to a significant lead, but RyaNoob needs to stay alive. He's kind of giving his presence away a couple of times, can't hit the headshots with the shock, and because of that, that's the opening G1 needs. But in the meantime, the rest of the team, they've been able to pick up a couple of kills, rack up some more ball time, and now Dan, they've started to build up this lead. Like we said, it's up to over 40, maybe 50 points at this time.
And we always know in best of 5s, there's always going to be some game types that are good for one team and bad for another. And as we get further into this game, I'm starting to realize that maybe this is a more comfortable one for eUnited. But they still have to get over that final hurdle, as now Rayne will get the trade. And at least he got the play. 3 members full on the side of eUnited, 2 are still up on the side of G1. But G1 just need to get that ball in their hands properly. They've not really had the opportunity to really get a setup at the moment. It's been constantly just, after a few kills, rotating away from the team.
Yeah, when G1 had the ball last, they opted to try and put the ball bottom middle, but eUnited were able to slay out. They were able to bring that ball then to blue. It's actually Rayne that's racked up 52 unanswered seconds, and with that, he was able to not only play the ball, but able to get a kill before going down, and that really stunts any opportunity G1 would have been able to have. But in the meantime, bubu has been able to get that ball into pipes. Gonna have to get a couple of slays if they want to rack up any significant time here, and that's gonna be difficult with the positioning now that G1 have.
Shock rifles coming up shortly. bubu will be relaying that information to the team as well, so they can maybe try and get their hands on it, as well as, of course, that camouflage. And bubu manages to walk across top middle and pick that camo up because the entire eUnited roster was over towards pipes. And bubu just...
I hate that play.
It could have been good. Could have been good if he just grappled it, got it away, and then stayed alive, but unfortunately he did give himself away.
When you have camo like that, why are you grappling the ball out in the open? You're just revealing yourself, putting an icon over your head. You do not want to use that camo in that manner. It's not often we get to criticize bubu for a camo play. He's made so many historic camouflage plays in the past, even a couple this weekend, to be honest, but that's one he's going to want back, and that's one eUnited will gladly get removed from the map. As that ball does make its way into blue, eUnited still going to have to force this push. The ball does get played And I love this play by Suspector. He says, you can stay in blue. The ball's going to batteries, and RyaNoob's on top of it. So they're going to be rewarded with a great rotation here and potentially an early play ball.
Yeah, really fantastic heads-up play from RyaNoob and eUnited as well. To be prepared for it, Suspector somehow wins that fight against PreDevoNatoR. Good shots and good strafing from him with his BR fight. But now from behind, here comes G1. Will be pushing in. Again, RyaNoob, the last remaining player. 4 dead for eUnited, and now a real chance for G1 to get set up.
Yeah, great rotation from G1 out of blue in that situation. What looked like was going to be an eUnited setup in pipes is immediately broken, and because of it, starting to chunk away at the lead that eUnited once built. It was up over 50, now it's under 40, and then get a couple of slays. They can hold this setup in pipes, and with shock rifle in bubu hands, anything is possible. He's able to find 1, able to find 2. With the battle rifle, it's a killing spree for bubu, up to 13 for the game, but more importantly, that ball in hand of G1, and the lead starting to dwindle.
This is what we said. Give bubu the space. G1, if they've got the ball, if bubu can slay around the ball time, there is always that opportunity that a lot of time can be had. He connects with the shot, but it's not a headshot, but it does do the damage for Swish to finish it off. And now ball time is still catching up here for G1. eUnited need to get this ball off them ASAP.
Big kill there by Rayne to have the awareness, head on a swivel to turn around. Take them down player into pipes, and look at Manny and RyaNoob. They made their way into pipes, but unfortunately nobody else picks up a kill outside of Rayne there, and because of that, eUnited starting to fall behind in those slays, and that's exactly why we're seeing the score start to get closer and closer on the side of G1. G1 is once again starting to pick up the slays and dominate that story. With it, the map control, the ball time, obviously going to go in their favor as well.
G1 starting to believe. RyaNoob, though, does get the kill onto bubu. That could be the opening eUnited desperately needed, and bubu should have got that kill, and I think he knows he should have got it as well. Squallaye will move that ball away from him ever so slightly, tries to play it into the middle of the map. 2 members have gone out, 3 go down for eUnited though, so G1 still getting the kills, and G1, that was temporarily all 4 dead on the side of eUnited.
Yeah, and G1 in a perfect position now to pick up that ball and take the lead here with 8 points remaining. What was a dominant round from eUnited to start this one off. G1 have done everything to crawl back into it, and that's going to do it. They take round 1, 100 to 83, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't pretty. eUnited showed us their best punch yet, but still G1 come out swinging.
That could be the final nail in the coffin here. eUnited had that round in the bag, it would seem. Not only do they now need a reverse sweep in this game, but they need a reverse sweep in the entire series as well. It is such a big hill to climb for this eUnited roster. And sure, they looked great on this map at times, but the fact we just saw G1 with a return like that, with a comeback like that, speaks volumes for how well they are playing right now.
Just dominated the second half, right? That was massive by them to get the slays that they were able to achieve. And everyone's starting to click once again. It was something we've seen from them in games 1 and games 2. eUnited was picking up kills at the start of that round, but about halfway through, we'd see 1 kill go through, and then all of a sudden, 3 members of eUnited were dead, and Swish, now he's secured that camo. He's picked up a kill with the sword as well, and this is where it could get ugly, to your point. 4 dead for eUnited, and Swish, Squallaye, they have a lot of tools to play around.
They've got the tools, and then bubu off spawn will be alive to try and slay around this ball once more. And 18 kills to his name at the moment. He's been so impressive with how aggressive he's been at the right times. Squallaye does get taken out of pipes though, so now eUnited need to use this momentum and disadvantage that they have. But here comes bubu and almost connects with it, but it's not quite there.
It was risky, but you can tell just in that one play, he's starting to feel himself, and when that's happening, good things are eventually going to come through. And bubu with 18 to his name couldn't get the 19th kill. It would have been a special one on the Suspector, but that is what eUnited needed to do, immediately breaking the setup of G1. Now let's see if they can hold this setup of their own.
Several players in control at the moment. bubu is down, so you've taken out the main slayer of this
There's a guy back
squad.
blue in there.
Oh, it does seem like someone was
got repulsed. The ball carrier just got repulsed.
And it was Swish. It was Swish that was behind enemy lines. He did get the kill, and because of that, so much time that could have been gathered by eUnited was ripped away from them.
One player behind enemy lines able to do that much damage, but more importantly, get the reset on the ball, take that carrier down, like you said. What looked like eUnited's opportunity to build another significant lead. Now, G1, they're able to play a little bit of cat and mouse. They're able to play around the ball. They do lose a few members, but with no ball time going into eUnited's favor, no real setup opportunity here, eUnited need to figure out a way to create some space in order to get that ball into a safe spot.
Yeah, eUnited need to get the ball away into pipes, which they do. even though it was very difficult because G1 were absolutely pummeling them from a distance. Swish is going to be bottom middle and a little bit vulnerable. Rayne takes advantage of that. Grapples with the camo because he was a little bit concerned his position was known. Because of that, he throws himself into damage. PreDevoNatoR, the last guy, is going to be alive. And as you say, just hold that ball now, eUnited. You need that time.
He's the last guy alive. Unfortunately, he's going to be forced to play it. And DevoNatoR with the grapple. Full court press in Rayne, or Suspector, he's able to trade it out because he has that sword. But now that that ball carrier is taken down, Rayne and RyaNoob, they're stuck in BR. This ball is in a really odd position for bubu. They're going to opt to rotate it back to pipes. And right now, eUnited trying to break this setup, but a beautiful shock rifle shot from Swish is going to deny the long haul push from eUnited.
eUnited need to reverse sweep this game. They need to reverse sweep the series. That means RyaNoob needs to make some calls. Let's jump into an Astro listening with eUnited.
Glass, yeah. Nice, Aiden, nice.
See if I can.
Coming.
One shot, can you come?
On me.
Yeah, give me a second, I'm pushing him.
I'm still one.
Going on glass.
I'm trying not to die to him.
I don't know where he went.
He's still there.
He went up somewhere.
Went up and out, I guess.
Yeah. Glass. Oh my god.
Bottom blue as well. 2 bottom blue. Devin's still here, 2 bottom blue.
Yeah, he's weak. There's 2 there. He's weak, Tarp.
One shot. There. Look at camo.
Blue window.
On camo,
Yeah,
just got stacks. Camo stacks weak.
One shot bottom move, And
Blue repulse up, right?
He's repulse.
Oh, I got one.
Top blue, and then like repulse.
Grab ball.
There's a guy repulse somewhere.
He came on me, I killed him.
Nice job.
Other one was like trippy. He's secret to me. Secret, I'm gonna die.
A great break from eUnited. RyaNoob with the repulsor onto the camo player. Unfortunately, gives his own life with the repulse from that camo player, but eUnited still with so much more work to do. G1 immediately getting that ball to bottom middle, making that work even more difficult for eUnited now. The clock's ticking. Your tournament life is on the line. You got 13 points, and bubu not even under a little bit of pressure in this situation. I actually love this play. They understand how much of a lead they have. They're able to play a little bit of Slayer here, Dan.
G1 are so close, they can almost taste top 4 at this point. eUnited have to play flawless. They cannot afford any more mistakes. Otherwise, G1 will comfortably get those final 12 remaining seconds. Swish recognizes, though, that he doesn't need to get too aggressive. He just gets the initial damage, gives that information to the rest of the team. G1 are playing so well at the moment. I love their communication. I love how they're working together as a unit.
Yeah, perfect plays from Swish there multiple times. Dropped to no shield. And look at that. 3 dead. RyaNoob coming off spawn towards elevator. Forced to desperate. It's a couple of 360s from bubu. He knows he's got the win. G1 have done it in dominant fashion. They're going to take this series 3-0. And this is one of the more incredible feats we've seen from G1. eUnited, they're eliminated. G1 will move on. And it's a matter of how far will they go at this point.
And I think this is why G1 were in so many of the predictions, so many of the wildcard picks, because G1 have been the big up team coming into this tournament. The team that has so much potential, the team that has been scrimming well, but can they actually do the job when it comes to the competition? It's proved right there in front of our very eyes, a 3-0 over eUnited. eUnited, who used to hold that kind of top 4 spot, G1 rip it away from them. Swish with 27 kills. We were talking about bubu and his slaying power. It was Swish who stepped up in those final moments.
27, 16, 15, big numbers from Swish. Big numbers all around, big series for G1. They take down eUnited, and that was, like I said, one of the more impressive feats we've seen from them. And I mean, this roster's starting to click, starting to feel themselves, and at the very right time. What a moment it would be for them to take this weekend, and they are a live underdog in this tournament now, Dan. Taking a look at the damage, Swish was 7.7K. That's so much power, so much presence he was able to provide for that G1 team.
I think Cloud9 might be a little bit nervous about going up against this G1 roster once more, because G1 are looking like they are improving tenfold every single time we see them. And a game that was very one-sided, a series that was very one-sided when you look at it on paper. eUnited did have those moments where you were thinking, okay, maybe they can get back into it, maybe they can get that double kill and turn it into a little bit of time. But unfortunately, there was just too much individual talent from G1 and too much teamwork overall that really propelled them into success. There is that final confirmation. We didn't even have to go to arguably one of G1's best game types in this series. It's a 3-0, Wes. do you think the G1 train can keep a rolling? How do you feel like G1 versus Cloud9 will go down?